Hello transport nerds and fellow planners, and welcome back to State of the Plan. I think it's been a few weeks now since I released the last episode. And in that time, I've been pretty busy. I've actually had quite a lot of things to do. 3 weeks ago, we were still up in the air a little bit about this autonomous vehicle trial that I've been involved in. But now it's open to the public, and you're more than welcome to head out to Raby Bay and jump on board as a member of the public and test out this trial for yourself. If you've never been on an autonomous vehicle, I'd highly recommend trying it at least once. It's a really interesting experience, and particularly having worked with it for a while, you learn a little bit about what this technology is going to mean for the future. If you haven't been on board one yet, I'd highly recommend it. So Wednesday to Sunday are our main operating days during sort of the middle of the day. And if you pop out to Raby Bay, it's near Cleveland Station. You can go for a ride and jump on board and see what it's like. Personally, I think it's pretty cool. And I know this channel is certainly based around a transport focus a lot of the time. It's not a transport channel, and I want to make that very, very clear. It just does a lot of transport content. But yeah, there's quite a lot of transport content on this channel, and I suppose a lot of focus around traditional bus, train, tram, and ferries. So I think this is a little bit of a departure that hopefully you will enjoy. And I am planning to do another video about that vehicle soon, so watch this space. I think this moves into the next thing I need to talk about of watch this space, and that is the planning job market. Over the last couple of weeks, I've actually been quite busy with more cover letters and writing, but now finally, interviews. This is the fun bit of the job making process. I mean, interviews can be quite nerve-wracking, don't get me wrong, but it's that chance to go beyond just writing what you think on pieces of paper and actually having the opportunity to speak with potential employers and not only show how your values work within that organization, but vice versa, how their organization values people. And I think that it's a really exciting sort of stage of the job process, the interviewing. It can be quite nerve-wracking, and there's sometimes difficult things to talk about, but with a little bit of luck, some of those interviews might translate into something new. So in that regards, watch this space. And I think that needs to reflect on a third thing in this video, and that is content. I haven't had a lot of time over the last few weeks because I've been focusing on the job hunt, which, as a personal priority, I think is a little bit above a small, amateur, but loyal YouTube channel that I do treasure. I think, the job market for me is probably the main priority. But in terms of content, it has meant that I haven't had as much time to film, but probably more importantly, edit content that I'd like. That being said, do keep your eyes peeled because there will be videos up in the next few weeks as well. I have an exciting one that should be going up early next week, which is a nice little bit of Sunshine Coast public transport. But on that, I want to talk a bit about requests again. I think this is going to come up in just about every single State of the Plan video. Now, I have had a couple of things. People who are keen to see another bus week and definitely planning on doing that. I have a few vehicles and footage clips lined up ready to edit. Now I just have to start editing them, and that's the slow bit that I have to schedule in amongst everything else. But I am going to do it, and I'm hoping that we'll have a nice bus week 3 before Christmas. And I know that the theme I want to use is to look at some more unusual vehicles, the sort of things that you wouldn't normally get to see reviewed. Buses are a little bit out of the way, that aren't necessarily always suburban vehicles, and also vehicles you might not always see en route service. So keep your eyes peeled, it should be a good one. Alright, so recently one thing I've also noticed is there's been a fair few requests for train videos. And good news is I have footage for another review which I'm planning to edit as soon as I can. Things have been a bit busy, so please be patient, we'll see what I can do, and I'm hoping they'll also have a nice new train review before Christmas. The other thing we need to keep in mind with train reviews is the way I've done a lot of the work I've done recently has been looking at individual train types and how and individual bus and tram and ferry types, and how they best fit the networks they're operating in. So is the vehicle well suited to the role it's performing? And I did it this way because I think a lot of network planners get left out of the transport planning process. And at the end of the day, this channel is really not about public transport reviews in a videography sense and just showcasing transport. It's about looking at how well they do the role that they're meant to perform. So I guess the next thing to keep in mind is, once I've looked at every vehicle in the fleet, because I don't have a lot left to review, where should I suppose I go from there? And I think that's the question I want to look at next. I mean, I've already reviewed the majority of train types in the QR fleet. And I guess in terms of train videos, it doesn't really leave me too many options. I suppose it's monitoring things as they go along. If there's any refurbishments and changes, then yeah, that's worth sharing. But, you run out of types of trains, you run out of types of buses, trams, and ferries to look at. And then you've just got to start being creative from there. And I guess that's probably why I've done a fair few bus reviews, because it's very difficult to run out. But well, look, if you've got any ideas, definitely leave them in the comments below. I've also been thinking of adding a few fun elements into that reviewing process. So we'll see where that takes us in the future. I guess the final thing to put in before all of this is, Christmas is definitely coming up, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to hopefully relax a little bit, enjoy, the Christmas period. The shuttle will be running over a lot of parts of the Christmas holiday period, save for the major public holidays, so you might still even be able to check it out over the Christmas break. But just before I go, I just want to point out that if you're not already following me on my main social media platform, the same name as this channel, Talking Planning, is on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and you can keep up to the latest stuff that I'm working on there. So thank you so much. I'll see you again soon.